As we all know, there are quite a few powerful fighters within the world of anime, but none are as iconic as Monkey D. Luffy and Goku. These two rubber men have single-handedly destroyed planets with their bare hands, and although they do seem similar, each of them has their own unique abilities that make them stand out from one another. That is why we made this video, to show you some of the biggest differences between these two. But before we get into it, we need to warn you that this video contains massive spoilers about both Dragon Ball Super and One Piece. So if you haven't caught up to these series yet, then we recommend you stop watching this video now. If you have already watched both of these series and you still don't know anything about them, then it's time to start watching. With that being said, let's take a look at how Goku would fare against Luffy in his Gear 5 form. Number 6. Ultra Instinct versus Gear 5. When Goku first unlocked the Ultra Instinct form, he was able to move and react instinctively without giving any thought to what he was doing. In fact, he didn't even need to think about breathing. His body just sort of did it for him. This ability allowed him to go toe-to-toe with an opponent like Jiren, who was basically immune to all forms of damage before the Tournament of Power. He wasn't able to truly defeat Jiren, though, and once the bell rang to end the match, Ultra Instinct Goku immediately reverted back to his base form, seemingly because he had to concentrate in order to maintain that transformation. When he first faced off against Moro, Goku was able to push him around pretty easily. However, the villain was able to absorb the energy from the planet Namek and become much stronger than before. In order to counter this new threat, Goku went into his Ultra Ego transformation, which seemed to be superior to his previous form at first, but it quickly became apparent that it was just more of the same. Then, when Moro absorbed the energy from the Dragon Balls, he became incredibly powerful and managed to overpower Ultra Instinct Goku. Fortunately, Goku was able to use the energy from the Dragon Balls to revert Moro back to his base form, and then simply wished for everyone who died during the battle to be revived. In the end, Goku didn't really prove how strong he is in his Ultra Instinct form. In fact, he never even got a chance to fight at full strength. That's because whenever he used Ultra Instinct, the fight was either ended right away, or he simply lost focus and reverted back to normal. Nevertheless, it seems as though his Ultra Instinct would give him an advantage against Luffy because of how fast and unpredictable it makes him. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that will be enough to beat Gear 5 Luffy. Number 5. Experience. Goku has been fighting since he was a child, and by now, he must have fought tens of thousands of battles. On top of that, he has trained rigorously in order to become stronger. So it goes without saying that he has quite a bit of experience under his belt. Even as a kid, he was able to defeat many enemies who were much larger than him. And by the time he reached adulthood, he was able to challenge opponents who were gods. In the universe, Goku has defeated many strong fighters who have complete control over elements such as water, earth, lightning, and fire. Because of this, he should have an idea of how to fight against someone who uses these types of attacks. As far as we can tell, the only thing that Goku has not really dealt with is the manipulation of space and time. And while that might put him at a disadvantage against Luffy in his Gear 5 form, it's nothing he can't overcome with a little creativity. We've seen him come up with strategies to deal with opponents who could erase him from existence. So we have no doubt that he will find a way to defeat Gear 5 Luffy if they ever do end up fighting. 4. Absurd durability. Although Luffy's Gear 5 form is very powerful, its greatest strength is also its greatest weakness. You see, in order to use this form, Luffy has to essentially turn himself into a living rubber balloon. This makes him extremely buoyant, allowing him to float in the air and even in water. It also makes him extremely stretchy and malleable, meaning that he can stretch his limbs to incredible lengths and even change his shape entirely. However, this also makes him incredibly weak against piercing attacks. A single small hole can cause the loss of consciousness, and if that hole is big enough, it can be fatal. And although Luffy has shown the ability to regenerate from serious injuries, that ability seems to be limited. For example, after he regenerated his entire arm, he became very weak and exhausted and needed to rest for several hours before he could use his devil fruit powers again. Not only that, but we've seen him bleed out after losing his legs. So if Goku is able to land a critical hit on Luffy, it might be enough to take the fight for good. After all, Goku has fought against opponents who were able to destroy entire galaxies with ease. And even when those opponents were severely weakened, they were still incredibly dangerous. Goku has proven that he is capable of defeating these threats. So we have no reason to believe he wouldn't be able to do the same to Gear 5 Luffy. Number 3, redefining power levels. Before Goku fought against Moro, most fans believed that the strongest possible form he could achieve was Super Saiyan Blue. That was until he pushed past his limits and unlocked the Ultra Instinct form. This new power level completely changed the way Goku fights because it made him rely on his instincts rather than his brain. Suddenly, he was able to react faster than the human eye could see, and he could predict his opponent's moves before they even made them. Even though Goku has not really had a chance to showcase the true extent of his Ultra Instinct form, we know that it is significantly stronger than anything he has ever shown before. The same can be said about Luffy's Gear 5 form. Up until recently, most people believed that the strongest possible form Luffy could achieve was Gear 4. That was until he ate the mythical Hito Hito no Mi model Nika Devil Fruit, which transformed him into a creature that resembled a rubber version of Sun Wukong, the main character from the Chinese novel Journey to the West. Now, Luffy is basically immortal. He can stretch his limbs to incredible lengths, he can change his shape at will, and he can even manipulate the very fabric of space and time. To say that Gear 5 Luffy is powerful is an understatement, and although Goku may be able to hold his own against him, we doubt that he will be able to defeat him. After all, Luffy's Gear 5 form is basically the embodiment of freedom, so unless Goku finds a way to suppress it, there is no hope for victory. 2. Who would win? Ever since Goku and Luffy's transformations were revealed, fans have been debating over who would actually win if they ever fought. The general consensus seems to be that Goku would win in a close match. That's mainly due to the fact that he has fought against beings who can destroy galaxies with ease, whereas Luffy has not. However, there are also many people who believe that Luffy would be the victor. After all, he does have the ability to manipulate space and time itself, something that Goku has never shown any resistance to before. Honestly, we're not sure who would win if these two were to fight. On one hand, we have Goku, who is basically immortal and can destroy galaxies with ease. On the other hand, we have Luffy, who is basically a god amongst rubbermen. I guess it would all come down to who could outsmart the other. And although Goku has shown some pretty impressive intelligence in the past, we're giving the edge to Luffy on this one because he's basically the protagonist of his own series. So it would be pretty hard for him to lose against someone like Goku. However, if Goku were to somehow suppress Luffy's Gear 5 abilities, then we think he would definitely win. 1. Which do you prefer? There's no denying that both Goku and Luffy's transformations are insanely powerful, but which one do you prefer? Let us know in the comments below. We think both forms are great because they completely change the way their respective characters fight. Goku becomes much more unpredictable and elusive in his Ultra Instinct form, while Luffy becomes much more creative and destructive in his Gear 5 form. Ultimately, it all comes down to personal preference. But regardless of who you think would win in a fight, there is no denying that both transformations are incredibly cool to watch. Now, before you leave, make sure to share this video with your friends and family so that they can enjoy it too. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. By subscribing, you'll be helping us out a lot, and we'll be able to make more videos like this one. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.